Welcome, my friends, to the Horror Syndicate's Werewolf Wednesday show. The goal of the show is to shine a light on and talk about every single werewolf film in existence, going through the great werewolf films, the good werewolf films, and even the bad werewolf films. I want to talk about them all, shine a light on this subgenre, which is kind of it's behind some of the other subgenres of horror, including slashers, vampires, zombies, demonic possessions, ghosts. It seems like all that stuff is way more popular than werewolf films. So, want to talk about every single one of them. And tonight I will be talking about the sequel, Another WolfCop. So last week I had discussed the first film, Wolf Cop from 2014. It's for me, I think it's a really fun B movie. I think it's well put together. It's intentionally the movie that it sets out to be, and I think it's well done for what it is, and it's uh, it's well paced, and it's just a lot of fun. But do I feel the same about the sequel? I don't know. How do you guys feel about the sequel, Another Wolf Cop? If you have seen it, let me know what you think about it in the comments. I will get to the comments after I kind of go through all my thoughts on the film. If you have not seen the film yet and you kind of want to check it out, if you don't feel like renting it anywhere, I did put the link in the description where you could watch it for free on Philo. So if you want to check it out and if you don't feel like renting it, just follow the link in the description. It'll take you to watch the movie. So let's get into Another Wolf Cop. So the story is once again about slacker werewolf cop Lou Garou and his partner, who is now the chief of police, Tina. And basically, she tries to, keep his secret, but it's kind of difficult for her because he tends to go out and fight criminals as Wolf Cop. So that kind of frustrates her a little bit. But in the beginning, Wolf Cop goes after a group of criminals trying to do a getaway. They have a crate. Wolf Cop kills them all and takes the crate, and he sees on the crate there is a tag that signals to him that the shifters are still around. If you remember from the first film, the shifters were the main villains. He brings the crate back to his new hideout, which is a place called, I think, Fortress Animal Shelter, and actually inside in his little room outside says Solitude, so it's his Fortress of Solitude, so to speak. And he opens it up, and eventually what emerges is his old friend Willie, played by Jonathan Cherry, who was replaced by a shifter. So the version of him that we saw in the first film was totally shifter, and this is the real friend, Willie. And meanwhile, there is a business entrepreneur. I can't even speak. There's this businessman who is he comes to Woodhaven to open up a new brewery and to start a hockey team in the area. His company is called Dark Star, and they are obviously connected to the shifters. And so that is what the story is about. So what do I think about this film? So while I think the first film was pretty solid, pretty tight story, this one kind of feels like it's all over the place. Um, so there's things about this film that I do like, but there's also a bit of it that I don't like, and so for me, this is definitely inferior to the first film. Um, and it's not one that I will just go to watch randomly on its own. Like the only way I'll rewatch this film is if I do rewatch the first one, and kind of get into the mood to watch more Wolf Cop. Um, so as far as the pros, I would say I like the three leads. You have Leo Fafard as Lou Guru, uh, Amy Matsucio, I don't know if I pronounced her name, as Tina, and then Jonathan Cherry as Willie. Um, they're fun characters. I think they're fun together, and I kind of like the focus on the three of them uh, as a unit. So I think the three leads are actually they were definitely the strongest performances in the film. I think some of the supporting characters and even the villains weren't all that great, but those three they carry the movie and they do it well. So I do like them. Um, it's a weird idea, but I also like the Werecat. Uh, I like the idea of doing other types of shapeshifters. So in the first one, you have actual, lizard people shapeshifters, and then of course the werewolf aspect. But here you have a different shifter, and this one turns into a werecat, and I thought that was kind of fun. And um, I think there are some fun moments with her character. Um, yeah, I thought that was a good new addition to the cast. Um, and I think the effects are good. They're as good here as they were in the first film. Um, I also liked some of the kind of there was like two smaller things that I kind of liked, and they both kind of go back to the first one. So uh, in the first film, there was this one character who was like one of the thugs, and he was always like super animated, like obviously for comedic purposes, like just over the top animated in his facial expressions. Well, in that film, he gets an eye gouged out halfway through by the main villain, and then towards the end of the movie, he gets shot in the other eye. I noticed this time around when watching it during the hockey scene in the third act, as they're going through the audience, I saw him in the stands. You know, he was wearing dark shades and holding one of those sticks that blind people have. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then, of course, there's the mid credits scene involving the guy who had his face ripped off in the first one, and I thought that was kind of fun. So I did like I like those little elements. Um, as far as the cons go, I thought the story seemed less focused in this one. It, there was a lot of different ideas at play here, not only with the connection of the shifters and this new beverage that's coming out and what it does to people. Then you got them also doing this cyborg type creature, um, and then there's also the werecat aspect of it. Um, so there's a lot of ideas at play here, and um, it, it it was like a bunch of ideas kind of strung together. Um, as opposed to just kind of feeling like a natural progression in the story. Um, and there was a couple moments where it felt like they were setting something up, and then they didn't. Um, there's with the way this film ends, it does leave it open. I'll talk more about what I would think of a Wolf Cop 3 towards the end of this. But so yeah, I think overall the story was less focused. I also thought the villains weren't great. I really liked the villains in the first one. Just the idea of shapeshifters and the reason why they were doing it. You know, the mythology that they established with the shifters intentionally creating a werewolf to get its blood to keep themselves alive. I thought that was pretty neat. Um, but the villains this time around, they were just kind of, to me, they felt generic. Um, uh, yeah. So the villains weren't great, and I do have to say, Kevin Smith grates on my nerves in this film. I hate saying that because I do like Kevin Smith. I like Clerks 1 and 2. The third film sucks ass, but whatever. I like Mallrats. I like Chasing Amy. I like Dogma. I like the first Jay and Silent Bob film. The second one, not so much. And he does seem like like a cool dude, like that I could probably like sit down and talk movies and comic books with for like hours. But he just really grates on my nerves in this, especially during the first scene involving him early in the film. So that's another negative for me. Yeah, and I just think as a whole, it 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 feels like uh, the the gags were more favored over story, and so it just doesn't feel like a complete story. Um, but yeah, I think it's an okay movie. Again, I've seen so many worse. I will say this: I think if you like the first Wolf Cop, you'll probably enjoy another Wolf Cop, but just beware that it is inferior. If you don't like Wolf Cop, don't even bother with another Wolf Cop because you're gonna hate it. They do make an attempt and I think succeed at outdoing the sex scene from the first one. Um, they really go for it here, and it's kind of gross. But yeah, so it's a again, it's a movie. There are some movies, some sequels, right, where like I'm just so familiar with the franchise, whatever, so I can pull out Elm Street 4, Friday 13th Part 2, you know, Halloween Resurrection. I'm kidding. I would never pull that one out. Uh, Halloween 6, even. Um, I could just pull them out randomly, just watch them without watching all the others beforehand. I don't think I could do that with Another Wolf Cop. I think Another Wolf Cop is a film that I'll only watch after a rewatch of the first one, and that's like if I'm in the mood to keep going, with Wolf Cop, which I think generally speaking I would be. So, um, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on Wolf Cop. I did come up with a score, 10-point system that I have. Um, I've been accused of being generous on my scores, and I see no lie in that statement. And you'll see why. Writing, I gave a 5. There are things that I liked about it. There's things I thought worked. There's jokes that I thought worked. And then there's others that just kind of fell flat. So it's sort of, felt like it was like halfway for me. Uh, Directing, cinematography, production design, I give sevens too. I think the film looks good. It's again, it's an intentionally made B movie, so it is what it is, and I think I think it's again well put together like the first one. Um, so you may say I'm generous on giving those categories seven, whatever. For the score, I gave a six. Um, there's a couple like fun songs in there. The score overall um, is okay, nothing memorable. Acting, I'm gonna give a six as well. Um, I think uh, Leo, Amy, and Jonathan. Uh, I think they all do very well. I like them in these roles. I like those characters. I think they do well. I think the only thing that kind of hurts the score is again some of the supporting cast. The two new deputies, didn't really like them. Although for the female one, I don't think it was so much the acting. So I guess forgive me on that. Um, but yeah, acting I gave a six. Effects I give an eight. I think the effects are good. Werewolf design I give a six. It's it's the Wolfman type look. Um, I think it looks fine. It looks good. Werewolf action, I give a seven. I think as a whole, I think the action is decent in the film. Entertainment wise, I give it a five. I give it a five because again, it's not a movie I can pull out and watch on its own. So my total score is 64 out of 100. Uh, which is higher than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. So yeah, another Wolf Cop. What do you think of it? Those are my thoughts. I will get to comments now. Looks like I missed a bunch of comments. I did. Holy cow. So Sean Sheridan says, not seen this, saw Werewolf Rising, didn't like it at sorry to shoot down your picks, dude. Well, actually, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all because like I say in the opening of these, I'm going to be talking about every single werewolf film, right? So even the bad ones. And actually, Werewolf Rising is a film that I've seen once. I did not like it. So when I made the schedule for the topics for Werewolf Wednesday, I decided to uh, that I'm not going to just have this show to talk about only the ones I like, but I'm also going to talk about the ones I don't like. And so I just kind of selected the ones at random. So yeah, and not to mention too, um, no, no need to apologize. If you don't like a movie that I like, I don't take it personally. If and it, yeah, and vice versa. I'll say that. So that's not a problem, my friend. But I'm gonna be rewatching Werewolf Rising. Um, and I'm just kind of curious because it's been a couple years since I've seen it. I do not remember liking it, but I'm dedicated to doing the Werewolf Wednesday show, so I'm going to talk about it. Ages of Film, what's up? Says, what's up, man? Time to wolf out. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And also, good job on your channel, by the way. I've been watching some of your stuff. CT says, hey Seth, what is up, CT? How you doing, my friend? What do you think of Another WolfCop? Kathy says, howdy, hello, how are you doing? I was going to ask you the same, but I did see that comment there. You have not seen it. Yeah, the Wolf Cop films aren't for everybody. They're intentionally made B movies. Uh, they go for some wild stuff in them. So it just depends on uh, how much you can handle. Aegis Film says I also put pause on that like button, sauce it ass up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. CT says first one was more fun for me. It's better of the two. Absolutely, I think the first one is the better film of the two. Um, I think I think both films are decently made, right? But I think the first one was just uh, better crafted story wise, um, and it was it was what it was. I feel like Another Wolf Cop, because of the popularity of the first one and because they seem like they got a little bit higher of a budget. I could be wrong on that. It just seemed like I don't know. Maybe they got a little too big for the britches. I don't know if that's exactly what I want to say, but yeah, I think the first one is better of the two, uh, for sure. I love campy movies. I don't like too corny, though. I get you. I get you. Sean says, in my defense, I have watched nearly every movie you have covered, so I have given most of these a chance. Yeah, no, that's great, and I love that, man. Keep going. I just wanted to point out that I'm not just talking about films that I like. So there are films on the schedule um, that I don't like, but it's just for the sake of covering them, just to cover every single werewolf film. Um, that is my goal. Ray, the founder of the Horror Syndicate, says, "Hey, brother, have a great show tonight." Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hope all is well with you. And then CT says, "Hey, Ray." uh, Castellar Daniel Garcia says, I think he meant to say I like it. Ray says you to CT. I like the song Strange Animal in this film. Yeah, I do too. Uh, Go Wolf Cop versus Demons. Oh, that'd be cool. And I didn't unsub despite Ray asking. You ain't getting rid of me that easy. I know he was joking. Yeah. Turbo Kid is bloody. Yeah, Turbo Kid is fun. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Stakeland is great. Yeah, I love Stakeland. Um, I was actually gonna be making a comment uh, in a little bit because I was gonna be I'm gonna be in a little bit. I'm gonna be talking about something, and I was gonna bring up Stakeland as well. But I love Stakeland 1 and 2. Deer Camp is good. I don't think I've seen that one. CT says the sex scenes were nightmare fuel on both in the worst ways. Oh my god, absolutely, especially in the second one. Like they really went for it. Uh, to why I didn't like Werewolf Rising. Acting was pretty poor. It didn't look great. I did like the werewolf design, and that was straight horror in the woods, watchable. Yeah. Hey, save it for next week, buddy. Save it for next week. Although you have to be a proper level of garbage for me, a movie is unwatchable. Yeah. Let's see. Ages of Film says Werewolf Rising had one of the best, scariest werewolf designs, period. Everything else with that movie is pretty trash, in my opinion. I I agree, but save it for next week. Talking about that one next week. CT says, honestly, I would say a 6 for this movie is a bit generous for you. Yes, I'm very generous with my scores. I know. I know. What can I say? I'm a nice guy like that. Um, 'Cause, 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 Sean says, I would agree. Age as a film, I did like the wood setting. Yes, that's true. The setting was solid and it did have a creepy vibe to it. Listen, you fuckers. Werewolf Rising is next week. See that? You made me swear. I was trying not to swear. I'm kidding, by the way. I don't care. Thanks for checking out Ages of Film. I appreciate it. Love y'all's channel and Werewolf Wednesday. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. And I hope you enjoy the new Superman movie when it comes out. All right. Sean Sheridan says every werewolf movie, so I have to watch every Howlin' movie. Why not? I find it far easier to watch terrible movies now than a few years ago, probably because I have seen so much of that stuff. There you go. That's why I have such low standards when it comes to werewolf films, right? Because I see a movie like Werewolf Castle and I say, hey, I've seen worse. Yes, so just keep lowering your standards, Sean. You'll get through it. And you'll get to say that you've seen all these movies. You'll be a werewolf buff before you know it, buddy. I just we want to have our cake and eat it too, homie. Yeah, I spoiled the werewolf rising show. Well, luckily for you, I got a very bad memory, so I'll forget that you guys had that conversation, and then just bring it up again next week when I talk about that film. Uh, I'm actually gonna be going through all the Superman movies leading up to the new one once it gets a little closer to July. Hell yeah, man, that's a great idea. Definitely a great idea. I'll likely do the same. Um, yeah, so caught up with all the comments. I was gonna ask. So, for those of you who like Wolf Cop and Another Wolf Cop, uh, would you want a third film, or would you be fine with just leaving that too? Let me know, uh, regardless of if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after the fact. I'm very curious about if people actually want a Wolf Cop 3. Um, that was something I was thinking about before the show, and I was trying to look up to see if anything was going on with that. Um, and the closest I could find was uh, writer director Lowell Dean um, said back in like 2017 that he had ideas for a third and fourth film, um, but there's been nothing on that since. Um, I know that there are Wolf Cop comics. I haven't checked them out. I didn't even know they were a thing until tonight. So I'm very curious to check those out to see how those continue on with the story. My answer for this of whether or not I would want a Wolf Cop 3, yeah, definitely. Um, I like the characters. So Sumi, I like the characters, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of Lou, Tina, and Willie. Um, I just hope that I think Lowell Dean is doing another. I think he's got a film coming out, or it came out. I can't remember. I saw something a while ago about like a trailer being released for a film that he did. So it's good for him for uh, branching out and trying to do something different instead of just doing the same property. But um, yeah, I actually would like to see a Wolf Cop 3, and I would like to see a State Land 3. Those are the two franchises where I wish that there was a part 3. So that's my answer. Um, I'll get back to comments. Sean Sheridan says, although one of the worst movies I have ever seen is a werewolf movie, American Wolf in Paris. There's way worse than American Wolf in Paris. I'm a badass Batman fan, so I've been eagerly waiting for the Batman Part Two. I know, me too. Especially since the Penguin. When I watched the Penguin, I was like, I want more of this Matt Reeves world. Um, so I'm with you. And it sucks that it keeps getting delayed. I have not seen either Wolf Cop movies. Well, there you go. You gotta watch them. So you can watch the first one for free on Tubi. You can watch the second one for free on Philo. The link is in the description to follow for Philo for this one. And in my previous video on the first Wolf Cop, I put the link in for Tubi. I think both films you can find to rent on streaming if you don't mind renting them, but you should check them out and you should do reviews for them on your channel, man. There you go. There's your mission if you choose to accept it. I didn't like one, so there's my answer. Well, there you go. It just I couldn't take the title or cover seriously, and like my werewolf movies to be dark and gritty, and wasn't sold by the poster. So I'm mostly in agreement with that. I've mentioned that a couple of times throughout the course of the Werewolf Wednesday shows, where the ones that try to the horror comedy ones I don't really care for as much. Um, and I prefer my werewolf films to be a little bit more serious. And some may say it's a little hypocritical because American Werewolf in London is my favorite werewolf film. People call that a horror comedy. I don't consider that a horror comedy. I think it's a horror film that has comedic elements in it. Um, but I don't think it's overly a funny movie. I think there's just characters with personality and how they react makes it fun. Um, but I definitely prefer. I'm with you. I prefer the more serious side of werewolf films. But I think you know a film like Wolf Cop and Another Wolf Cop, they're just there's there's fun to them, and they do take their lore. Well, at least the first one takes the lore very seriously. I think it's got interesting lore to it. So you know, maybe give it a chance. Just like understand what it is, and obviously the title and the poster are big giveaways to that. But yeah, Colin Farrell was a great penguin. Absolutely phenomenal in that role. That show was so good. CTS, long as a third is more like the first movie, or different from both. They make a third like the second. No thanks. 100%, 100% agree with you on that. Uh, I would want a third film, but I would want Lowell Dean to just kind of uh, tighten it back up a little bit. Uh, don't focus too much on the gags. You know what I mean? Don't make it like just a string of gags. Just make it story oriented, and then just have your fun in there. But I agree. Sean says, well, to defend my point on Paris, I thought Werewolf Rising was a bad movie, but I had positives. I have not one positive for Paris. Fair enough, my friend. Uh, Sean says, it's not a horror comedy. It's vicious, like 10% comedy at best. Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about American Werewolf in London. Uh, I don't consider American Werewolf a comedy. It's definitely horror, but it has moments of natural humor, but not at the cost of the story or characters. It's not jokey humor. It's natural humor. There's a difference. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've been saying for a while now. It's like the comedy. It's not like slapstick, right? It again. It comes from the characters and their personalities, and it does feel natural. And but when the horror happens, the horror is taken seriously, and the horror is really good. An American Werewolf in London because of that. Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement. Definitely. Uh, all right, cool. Caught up on comments. So, uh, yeah, I'll stay on just for a tiny bit longer. If anyone has anything else to add, uh, definitely let me know. If you like Wolf Cop or if you don't like Wolf Cop, um, let me know the reasons why. I can understand where they're not for everyone. Uh, you know, because they are intentionally bad per se, B movies. There's some gross stuff in them, uh, shock, shock horror. Um, but I think they're fun. Um, yeah, I don't know. One positive for Werewolf in Paris is got a hot wolf chick, and that's it. Yeah. If it's any consultation to my favorite, your favorite movie of 2025 is The Wolfman, huh? Hmm. Would you welcome a prequel to American Wolf? Yeah, I would. So it's been brought up before. Someone has it's been brought up a couple times to me about a potential like remake, and I've always said American Werewolf in London doesn't need a remake at all. You can do anything in that world still, so you can do a prequel, you could do a sequel, or they don't even necessarily have to be a prequel and sequel, but they could just be like companion pieces in that world. I think there's more that they can explore, especially um, with the citizens of the Slaughter Lamb in East Proctor. Um, so yeah. So Wolf movie. Yeah. Uh, oh, sorry. Good time as always. Thanks, Seth. Thank you, CT. I appreciate it. I got a little sidetracked because I saw the comment beneath it. That confuses you accepting them. Okay, so what happened? Your comment up here saying that your favorite movie this year is The Wolfman. For some reason, I thought that was Ages of Film. I so I yes, I've known that you like the 2025 Wolfman. For some reason, I don't know why. I just thought you were Ages of Film, so I confused you with someone else. Um, yeah, I know that you like you like the new Wolfman. Again, and I don't hate it. I just I need to watch it again. I think maybe there is that association for me with the with my love for the original 1941 film and the 2010 remake, and the fact that this was just Wolfman in name only. And I didn't really care for the design, but I do want to rewatch it. I'll probably get it to have it in my collection, and I'll give it another watch. Don't know if I'll ever love it as you, but it's okay. You like in a movie I don't, or be like in a movie you don't. It's all good, man. All good. My favorite werewolf movie of all time is Dog Soldiers. Dog Soldiers is badass. But Dog Soldiers and American Werewolf are in my top 10 horror films of all time, for sure. Um, I do like Wolfman 2025 for a number of reasons, but it's going to crack my top 10 werewolf movies. So, well, see, there you go, Sean. You're not the only one. Ages of Film also likes it. It's not gonna crack your top 10. I figured that's what you meant. It's a wolf man, not a werewolf. I think that seems to be the issue with most. I didn't care either way. Yeah, I mean, semantics. Uh, yeah, I think. I mean, I give them credit, right, um, for trying their own unique approach to what a werewolf is, or a wolf man. I mean, for me, that's the same difference. A wolf man is a werewolf. Um, but I definitely give him credit for that. So, but I just didn't care for the look of it. Again, though, I'll give it a rewatch, and we'll see. We'll see where I fall with it. Um, yeah, I'll probably. No, I did do a show on that, didn't I? I was gonna say I'll probably do a show on that next year, but I think I already did. So, um, I prefer both the Wolfman 41 and Wolfman 2010 over. Yeah, same here. Same here. But I mean, it's fine if you like Wolfman 2025. Um, I guess you're allowed that, Sean Sheridan. Ray didn't like it, correct? The Wolfman, the new one. No, he didn't. I think he hated it more than I did, if I remember correctly. Um, because I did a review for it for the horrorsyndicate.com, and it was a fairly positive review. I think I actually gave it a decent score, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Um, but there was just things about it that I didn't like. So, um, yeah, I liked Werewolves 2024 a lot too. Yeah, that's a fun movie. I've got that on Blu-ray now. I'll probably do a show on that next year. I got the whole rest of the year mapped out and scheduled for topics for the Werewolf Wednesday show. You can check that out on the horrorsyndicate.com. Or actually, I actually put a link to it in the description. So there you go. Check that out. See which werewolf films I'm covering. And then watch them and then report back. I want to hear your thoughts. All of you guys. That's everyone. Not just ages of film. I'm talking about everyone. Nice. Looking forward to them. Awesome. Yeah. So anyway, I think I am going to call it a night. I think this has been a good conversation. Yeah. So another. Okay. So sorry. Wolf Cop from 2014. Really fun B movie. I dig it. Another Wolf Cop, I think, is okay, but certainly inferior to the first one. But I enjoy them. I do hope there is a third eventually, um, but I'm not going to hold it against Lowell Dean if he wants to, um, you know, venture out and try to do other types of movies other than the Wolf Cop type. So, I'm rooting for him to keep going, and being as creative as he can. But I do hope that maybe, if he gets a couple other films out of his system, maybe he'll be interested in returning to the world of Wolf Cop. So that's my thoughts on it. Next week, I will be back to cover Werewolf Rising, which I believe is on Tubi. I think you can rent it probably through Prime, and maybe even available just to watch through Prime. Um, I own the DVD, bought it blind. But yeah, next week, Werewolf Rising from 2014. I think it's 2014. Anyway, I'm Seth. Hope you all have a good night. See you next Wednesday.